All right, we're going to talk about this more now with Vanessa Neumann. She is a Latin America analyst at the Foreign Policy Research Institute and joins us live now from Washington. Thanks very much for being with us. Now, I'm sure you've seen these pictures of the Venezuelan opposition leader arriving to what looks like a hero's welcome back there in Caracas. What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much for having me on. Well, yes, we watched it live and we got notification just as the plane arrived. And we knew that he was going to arrive today, but we didn't know exactly what time. So we were thrilled. I mean, in my home, we have also other Venezuelan journalists who are tracking this, who are very much a part of the opposition. So we watched very attentively. It's phenomenal. It's an incredible event that he arrived with so much international support with the international ambassadors. It was very well organized. The European Union had said, you know, you must protect him. The U.S. government said you must protect him. The ambassadors turned up, and he arrived on a flight from Panama, really with great intelligence, just protecting him without leaking what flight he would be on. He arrived to hero's welcome, and the love that he has, that he inspires in the Venezuelan people is evident because he has done what didn't seem possible just a few months ago, to unify the Venezuelan opposition, the political parties, and the people to inspire hope. It's the fact that he arrived, and there was a photograph of him going through immigration, would just give all the Venezuelan people so much hope. And it also really puts the regime on the back foot, because they had said they would arrest him, but they had a bad choice. If they arrest him now, there will be a massive uprising of all the millions of people who love him and heavy international action. And now, by not arresting him, Maduro looks weaker than ever. So it's a real loss for the regime and a real gain for the Venezuelan opposition and a hope for freedom for the country.
How important, then, is momentum in all of this? Because there have been protests like this in Venezuela before against the government, and President Maduro has been able to ride them out. So what if these protests just go on and Maduro remains in power?
This is a completely different situation from what we have seen before. It's not just the fact of the protests. It's the fact that that Guaidó defied President Maduro, who said he didn't have permission to leave. The fact that he left and went to Cucuta and then went on this international tour, where you saw millions of people, because of course now the diaspora is huge, cheering him on in every Latin American country. And then he was able to come back in. Be aware that we don't recognize Maduro as our president. So whatever he said about Guaidó not leaving and not being able to enter is just simply not recognized by us. And the fact that he couldn't even get his security forces to act on it is a real slap in the face. So this is completely different. And also, it comes after the violent repression of the February 23rd, when Maduro showed his hand in his brutality by ordering his security forces to shoot his own citizens carrying food to their starving relatives. After that, and the sanctions and the naked brutality of the regime has been evident, and now he has defied that naked brutality and inspired this outpouring. It's a completely different situation. There is hope now for a transition in a way that there never has been in Venezuela before.
I want to ask you as well about the international support that Juan Guaidó has been trying to gather in his time that he's been outside of Venezuela. And he is, of course, getting a lot of support from the U.S., where you are. Is there a danger that he may be seen as a puppet of the United States, particularly given the current administration, which is, shall we say, not particularly popular with a lot of other countries right now?
I've heard that criticism before. I think what put paid to that criticism was the tour around Latin America. The fact that it was not just Colombia, but Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, Ecuador, and he flew in through Panama, and he will be going to Chile on the 22nd of March. That's already been announced. That, you know, it shows, and the outpouring and the caravans and people lining the streets and cheering, we want to go back, we want freedom, and Guaidó. really shows that his support is international and particularly regional. And the fact that the EU came out and defended him and said, don't touch him, they said to Maduro, don't touch him, really shows how broad the coalition is and that he is loved because don't forget how vast the diaspora is. About 12% of the population has already left to other countries. And in all those countries where he toured, he was welcomed as a hero. So now, if there had been a criticism that the support was led by the U.S. and that he was too much under U.S. Influence, you can see that that is no longer true, that it is absolutely international.
Good to speak with you, Vanessa
Neumann. That was another clever play. Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're out of time. Appreciate your thoughts on this. Good to speak with you. Vanessa Neumann joining us there from Washington.